And good morning, and welcome to Thursday, August the 26th, as we move through the seven churches of the book of Revelation that Jesus sends letters to via John's writing. We are in the church in Sardis today, the letter to Sardis. The suggested reading is Revelation chapter 3, verses 1 through 6. And the lead-in verse for today is that very first verse. I know your deeds. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Wow. It should be interesting to us to see to these churches the words that Jesus says. He doesn't pull any punches. He'll praise what is praiseworthy, but he'll also judge what is judge-worthy. And we dare not take his grace for granted. The letter to Sardis, Sincerity. The letter that the risen Jesus dictated to John for delivery to the church of Sardis is the only one that contains no commendation of any kind. Its criticism is almost unrelieved. Only a few simple words were needed by which to expose its spiritual bankruptcy. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Church in Sardis had acquired a name. It was well known by the other 6 churches in the province for its vitality. No false doctrine was taking root in its fellowship. We hear of neither Balaam nor Nicolaitans nor Jezebel. But outward appearances are notoriously deceptive. And this socially distinguished congregation was a spiritual graveyard. It had a name for vitality, but it had no right to that name. As the eyes of Christ looked beneath the surface, he said, I have not found your deeds complete in the sight of my God. Verse 2. The reputation that Sardis had acquired was a reputation with human beings, but not with God. This distinction between reputation and reality, between what human beings see and what God sees, is of great importance everywhere. From 1 Samuel 16:7, we get these words, quote, the Lord does not look at the things man looks at. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Ironic, isn't it? We, as human beings, are most often concerned with the outward appearance. You care more what people think than what God thinks. To be obsessed with appearance and reputation leads naturally to hypocrisy, which Jesus hated. Oh, we call the Pharisees on the carpet repeatedly for that. Originally, the Greek word, which is Hippocrates, was an actor who plays a part on the stage. But the word came to be applied to any charlatan or pretender who assumes a role. Hypocrisy can permeate the life of a church, especially its worship. It makes no difference whether the service is liturgical or non-liturgical, whether it is marked by Catholic ritual or Protestant austerity, the same unreality can be present. Hypocrisy is make-believe, whereas a true and living church is characterized by sincerity. These letters to these 7 churches are like a checklist. Would Jesus say that to us? Or would he say that to us? Would we get the commendations? more or the criticisms more? I think about that in my own life from time to time, and I think it's good. We want to stay honest. It's easy to fool ourselves. The old saying goes, we can fool all the people some of the time and some of the people all of the time. The reality to the end of that saying ought to be, though, but we can really fool ourselves to our own demise. Really, many will come to me in that day and say, Lord, Lord, look at all the things we did. And Jesus says his response will be to many of them, I never knew you. Your religion, this is me putting words in that place, your religion was all for show and not for go. It's a sad, sad thing to have written over the door of a church by Jesus himself. You have a name that you're alive. You sure look good, but you're dead. I know we want positive words in these days. I know many have come to see the Christian faith as like a psychiatry that makes us learn to feel good about ourselves. And there is plenty in following Christ to encourage us. But we've got to be following Christ. We've got to be allowing the Holy Spirit to lead us, allowing the Word to be a light to our path, allowing the Lord to order our steps in life. That's when we find the joys of the kingdom. Sardis had settled for impressing people, and they no longer impressed the Lord at all. I hope you're diving into these this week. They're powerful for us. We need to listen to what the Spirit says to the church today through these churches. Blessings.